Yo, 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 what it do, what it do? It's your boy Demo the Don, aka God Demo. Back in the house again, back in the thing again, doing what I do the best, doing what I do the most. Keep it real. I can't afford to care how you feel, man, because, to do what I do, you have to think and be of a different level. And my point is to help others with that same problem. Is that many of us are being held back by the grouping that we find entertaining and fun and great to be around because either they make us feel good because they tell us they love us and they give us stuff or all that kind of stuff like that. But the thing about it is that what kind of love are you giving me, and is it pure? Is it, where's it coming from? Is it coming from a good place? Is it coming from a place of jealousy? Where is it coming from? This love that you say you have for me. And, because that's the whole thing about it when you're living life is that the love is where it's at, and nobody wants to go where people don't like them, you know, but so many places people don't like other people. And for what reason? And a lot of it's like simple. Oh, your religion, your political views, your whatever, your skin tone, the way you breathe. I can't stand the way you big nose people breathe. Taking up all the good air. I hate to be like that, but boy, I can't stand when a stupid person has a big old nose and they breathing up all the good air of people who got intellect. Like, shut up. You sucking up all the oxygen. We outside. Shut up. Shut up. So I got to do what I got to do. Like I said, I'm a street preacher martial artist that does comedy, and that's what I am. And that's just on any day, every day, me. Because as a martial artist, I have to protect myself. I have to defend myself. I have to be aware and take care of myself because all my life I never had nobody to do it for me. I had nobody to help me. If I got jumped, I had to handle everybody myself. There was nobody around me constantly to help me. Period. And a lot of people didn't really realize this, and they don't probably still now because they won't accept information. And so we gotta get those people who are having problems accepting information to start accepting information. And so as I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm coming up with solutions, trying to pinpoint problems and such like that. And those who are jealousy filled, they can't accept what I'm saying. They can't accept what I'm doing because their jealousy is of whatever it is that they're jealous of about me. And it stops them from accepting what I'm saying, and it stops them from listening to the words that I'm using, and it stops them completely. And they get stumped. And the confusion of all the lies that they've been taught all their life is just too compelling to stop their brain function, you know? And that's a bad thing. That's a real bad thing. And so, just a minute ago, I was like, man, how can we, fix this? And they was like, well, we like how you're doing it. You're focusing on age group, uh, gender, occupation. And I was like, that's it. That's it right there. Those who get it, uh, capture what it took for you to be interested and find like-minded individuals of that particular situation that caused you to and so what we found out is like from 20 to 30 females in the medical field will pick up in about 7 months. uh, Teachers of 30 to 40, both male and 30 to 30, 40 years, male and female, will pick up in about a month and a half, 2 months. Doctors and such, they get about male doctors so far, 2 months, 7 months for female doctors, so it's and construction workers too. Construction work, carpenters and stuff like that. They pick up in around like 7 to 8 months. But we can speed it along if we know who to pinpoint, if we know exactly what to do and how to do it, and what it will take for them to understand. Like for like people 20 to 30, it was the a whole. It was entertainment, but it was witty entertainment that really kind of got their eye. You know what I'm saying? And how I was displaying how men should be more manly and stuff like that. And so that's what caught their eye, because these women from 20 to 30, they're tired of these little boys and these little stud trannies, and because you're really, really feminine on the inside while trying to hide your femininity and trying to pretend to be masculine. And it doesn't work, because you don't have any masculine traits when you speak, when you behave. You have a lot of feminine traits, rolling your eyes and doing all that stuff. And it's not that all those traits are just feminine traits. It's just it's a more feminine behavior, because of the whole "I'm always right" and "I make the baby, so I'm the creator." And the ego, the blind ego of the females. You know what I'm saying? Baby, you are extremely important. I want you to understand this, but not that important. Okay, calm it, bring it down, baby. Okay, bring it down. Okay, you're beautiful. We love you. You're important. You're great. Just not that great to be doing what you're doing. Okay, bring it down. Okay, so that's pretty much all what stuff be. Is trying to kind of categorize the situation to pinpoint what it the solutions to figure out these problems. And the problems, like I said, it's at the base level. It's the education level. You know what I'm saying? At the base level, it's the education level. So if you, it's kind of hard to get down to the bottom. See, and then I'm trying to work it all different ways and stuff like that. So it's like, as I'm working through the class systems, right? I gave you how to deal with that, but I also gave you a class system that you weren't paying attention to. Some of you, the brain, the mentality brain, nerd, geek, dork, dweeb. That is a class system too. Remember? So as you take in all of these class systems, um, you start to realize who's what and what's who. And you can categorize these people by the mentality and the intellect that they have and the level of information you can take from them because of their level of knowledge. And when it's outside of their knowledge, you can't take that information full heartedly. It's probably most likely just a 2 cent expectation check, their opinion. And when it's just an opinion, you can't, and especially an uneducated opinion, you can't take that full wholeheartedly. You just got to take it for what it is, a 2 cent expectation check. And you can hold on to it all you day long, but don't try to cash it with other people when that's all it is. And because someone else might actually have that knowledge, and so when you try to talk to them about some foolishness that someone gave you a 2 cent expectation on, 2 cent expectation check on, then I can't cash this check. I tried to cash it with another person, and they didn't take it. And so since they can't take it and they had that knowledge, I can't take this check, so I'm gonna have to give it back to you. So and that's what's been going on throughout the ages. Is 2 cent expectation check, 2 cent expectation check has been just carried on throughout time and time and time again through culture, heritage, lineage, bloodline. You know, and just let me just start just letting go of the things that once were that kept us barely below basic, and let's move towards the future to where there's new excitements and new things to see and discover, and people can be themselves the correct way and not be so reserved because of another person's standard of living. Because your standard of living is not the next person's standard of living, and blah 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 blah. They're different strokes for different folks, and we have to respect each other for being the unique person that each individual is. However, there are going to be common things and there are going to be similar things. That doesn't mean we dwell on those things that are common and similar, because that person is not exactly like the next. Never. It's not. That's impossibility. That can never be. But you guys are really trying to work towards that, and it's not something that anybody should exercise. And that's why I'm like, I like to stay fit mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So in order for me to stay fit spiritually, though, I have to read. I have to pay attention. I have to listen. I have to care. Because when it comes to spirituality, it's about you and what you care about. That's pretty much what spirituality is. It's about what you care about, and and the path that you chose along that care. And so for some, it's going to be different, because they have different sights, they have different ambitions, they have different dreams, they have different skills and abilities, they have different talents, whatever, however it may be. But unique is the word. So to be unique, you have to understand where your uniqueness lies. And we've been so misled by who again? Right, people who one and want to keep you limited and keep you from venturing further into information that could be helpful and useful to your everyday life and living. So a lot of people get upset with the way I speak because I don't slow down and go like everybody else do, and then I don't pause and I don't have all those breaks, and then I don't stumble as much either, and all the rest of the stuff. So uh, that kind of bothers a lot of people because they can't do that, and that's not my problem. And I'm trying to help with that situation by helping with the forms of speech, the sentence structuring, grammar correct grammar, and understanding vocabulary is very necessary to correct grammar and sentence structuring, and understanding the definition to these words and the placement would help clarify any statement or question or anything that's made. So it's not, like I said, my point ain't to hurt you. My point is to help you. However, your point is to hurt me for exposing your insecurities and your weaknesses. But it's not to keep you down. It's to build you up and to expose those insecurities and weaknesses for a weakness and not a strength that you're trying to hide. You're hiding your weaknesses as if they're strengths, and hiding your strengths as if they're weaknesses. I just don't understand the backwards mentality of that. So, instead of me trying to dig deep to that, which, eventually I probably will, because I want to help build and not break down. I want to spell out and not break down, you know, to identify and not judge, to change the norm from disrespect to respect, to change it from always assuming about something that you can't know about because it's not yours to know. Like what another person knows, what another person is going through, and you haven't been around them 24/7, 7 days a week to see, hear, to know, and then be all in their head to see what kind of thoughts they have and what kind of depth of those thoughts they have. You never know those things. You can't assume those things. You can't presume those things due to a face value glimpse look of a person. And because that way you'll miss the whole point of who you're dealing with, how you're dealing with it, and how you should do it. To move accordingly, you have to take accountability. And to take accountability, you have to be responsible for what you're looking at and what you're hearing, what your senses are in tune with. you know and so when did feeling become a sense? Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. When did feeling become a sense? Now, intuition and instinct does, of course, play factors. Always, always. Instinct and intuition will always play a factor, okay? Because your body will react to certain things automatically. You know what I'm saying? That's depending on the amount of knowledge that you have. So to just only take in what someone says and gives you, and you're not looking for the answer yourself, what is that called? Being lazy. And you want to wait for people to tell you something all the time? Really? You may be waiting forever for certain people, especially if you're depending on one person to tell you all the information. You may wait forever because they may never get into those subjects. They may never get into that information, or they may take a long time to get into that information. So you need to find the person with that information to give to you. So I understand you revere your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie, your reverend, your preacher, your teacher, your president, or whoever. However, that is not the only source of information, and so then that's not the only influence. That's not the only. There's no only nothing, 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 nowhere. Okay. So once you start accepting that there are always more, then more becomes what you'll accept. So I'm like I said, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. But because of who I am and how I am, I can't just baby you and spoon feed you and talk to you like an adult all the time. Because a lot of you aren't adults. You're a bunch of grown up children trying to still be children. And okay, that's fine and dandy. However, us adults would like to discuss important matters and things and theories and subjects and stuff, and you're in the way with your childish behavior, trying to interrupt. Look at me. Chicken stew a little. Fall back, sit down, and fall back, okay? Please. Okay? The famous Mr. Ed is not the one. Okay? That's why I'm like, all these names I'm giving you, I'm claiming those names. Those are mine. You claim what you got. It's just because I'm not limited like you. I got all of this. Yeah, because I have all of this knowledge. I have all this wisdom. I have all this understanding. I understand what the sixth sense is. I understand what the seventh, eighth, and what you think is the ninth sense, which is the sense of spiritual awareness and its adeptness and abilities and so on and so forth. Because it's more than just one. There's always more. There's always more. Okay, so for the rest of your days, maybe taking some of this good knowledge and wisdom and understanding, and take it for what it is. It's not there to hurt you. It's there to help you. Now, if some of the stuff it hurts because it applies, what I just say? Okay, then respect it and take it for what it is, and then you'll begin to see and hear and smell and taste and touch, and that sixth sense become a sense that you have instead of this baka 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 boop baka 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 boop baka 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 boop bop 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 boop bop bop boop bop bop boop boop bop bop boop boop bop bop. God, Pastor Glue no good ain't boy. I swear this dude. He is not your normal preacher. And he ain't talking about Bible says, God said, this said, that said. Nobody said nothing. All he's explaining is the things that we know, that we ignore and neglect. That's it. And those of higher understanding and higher knowledge and higher intellect, they're grasping a whole lot faster than those with the lower. And as they grasp it a whole lot faster than the ones with the lower, they understand that the suggestions and advice that the lower mind gives them, they can't take them wholeheartedly. So the lower mind must elevate to become with the rest of us, those who like intellect, those who want to learn and grow, those who see production in reading, learning, accepting information, things like that. So, what category are you in as you go about your day? As I've given you these classes and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a multifunction talk show. Ask Me If I Care. It's a multifunction talk show. So, it is what it is, man. Maybe one day you'll catch the show and be able to grasp that it's not all fun and games. It's not all whoop-de wob wob bee bam. Some of the information is going to be brutal, and some of it's going to be hard to take in, and some of it's going to be difficult to see people the way you once did, because now you understand them a whole lot better. So I love you. We love you. Stop forgetting it. Stop messing over that love. Fighting for image when you should be living for peace. Living for peace is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. So why are you trying to fight against it? For an image, for a reputation, for something that's false. That's why the problem with the false gods and false idols situation, because these ministers, they're not telling you God, God, God. They're telling you book, 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 me, me, me. Pay attention. And through that you have the reverence above God to them, and not to God, not to the Son, not to the Father, not to the Holy Spirit. It just is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Pay your phone bill, let your bill, water bill. Pay attention to what's real out there. What it is not going to change for nobody. Okay, what is not going to change. It's just going to be what it is, and we have to accept that. That is what is. And if you're denying what is, then you're denying yourself and your environment and everything else. So all that denial will send you in a state of confusion and doubt and disbelief. And that's what I'm saying. One thing leads to another always, right? Time, energy, and effort, your three most important things. What are you doing with them? Are you just entertained? Are you just gossiping? Are you taking in real information? Or are you just taking in stats of someone else's life? Doctor stats. That's what gossiping is. You being a doctor stats. PhD. Doctor stats. Pay attention, y'all. It is what it is, man. Just love yourself a little enough to be respectful to others. So simple. What inconsideration is the root of all evil. Being thoughtless and careless. I don't care about this. I ain't gonna think about that. That's very evil. And it's the definition of inconsiderate, right? Okay, so inconsideration is the root of all evil, and evil is to take away somebody's joy, and so on and so forth. Pay attention to what is and not what they tell you, because they want a name for themselves. Okay, how to pronunciate a word does not definition. It is not a vocabulary. It's just pronunciation. You need definition for vocabulary. Okay, and just finding one word at a time every blue moon does not define a vocabulary. Let's stop being limited. Let's to infinity and beyond the future, right? That's where we're headed. That's where we're trying to go. Future. So why are you standing still in the past? Think about it. Let's put that to our to-do list, and or at least our bucket list. Thinking, take a time to and listen and pay attention and stuff like that, and on the inside too, on the inside and out. I understand you got questions, but if you're studying trying to find an answer which is being given to you, you can't listen, now can you? And you study trying to question it. It doesn't work. It is what it is. I am who I am. You are who you are. Let's be ourselves, okay? What's up, Doc? Don't feed the ops.